So let's get into our last review of the day, and that is going to be for the anime series Hunter x Hunter. Now, Hunter x Hunter, we're not going to review the whole thing yet. We're going to review it arc by arc. So
It's
this
a
is
long
the
one.
yeah, this is a long one here. So the first arc of this show is called the Hunter Exam arc. So what is the story of Hunter x Hunter? So it's from the creator Takahashi, who people might know did the anime series, the acclaimed anime series Yu Yu Hakusho, which we reviewed there on the channel. There, Yu Yu Hakusho, very legendary anime. Some people say it has one of the best tournament arcs in all of anime history. There, so very very great one. And I, as much as I love Yu Yu Hakusho, it's one of my favorite animes of all time. I've never seen Hunter x Hunter before, not once in my life. So it was interesting to finally check this out. Finally, after hearing so much about it. So what is the story of Hunter x Hunter? So you have this character called Gon, there, and his dad left him to become a hunter. And I guess normally sometimes you have people who resent their parents for leaving them and kind of hate them. No, he's like, no, he did what he needed to do because being a hunter is really cool. So I'm gonna be a hunter too to go and have a chance to meet my father. And that's what he does. He, does this mission there to go and take the hunter exam in this world. It's known a very difficult exam that tests your mental fortitude, your fitness, your endurance, everything about the human spirit, your power of friendship. There that it tests. There you see in this exam. Um, and so it tests all those things. Very, very complicated exam. And then amongst with him, it's people coming from all across the world to take this exam. And basically, if you get a hunter exam, if you get a hunter's license, you basically get carte blanche to do anything you want. You could kill somebody. You could just get away with it. Nobody can say anything to you. Yeah, you basically could just have just basically free will to basically just do whatever you want to do here. So it's a very special thing. And also, I guess you get paid a lot of money being a hunter, which is also one of the motivations for one of the characters called Lenario, who's one of the characters here, who claims he's a teenager but is much older looking and bigger than everyone else here in the
That's kind of
series.
sus already.
Yeah, it's very sus, especially Gon, who at the beginning of this is 12 years old. We see at the beginning of this series here at the start of it. And he meets other characters. Make sure I'm pronouncing this right. Killua is also how you pronounce it.
Killua?
Killua there. And
Yeah.
then Karapaka there.
I think it's Kurapika. I'm pretty
Kurapika
sure.
there. There, so that's his kind of crew there that he has, that he kind of meets during the hunter exam, and kind of forms bonds with. And then they see also during the exam, they also meets kind of people because this is a very difficult exam, very very difficult here, and some people have taken it over 30 times and still haven't passed. And they meet a kind of a character who, yeah, he's been here 30 times trying to take the exam, has failed every time, and then he kind of like has a strategy where he takes out a lot of the rookies of the exam and kind of tries to sabotage them. He also has a character here who's a clown, Hisoka, uh, here as well.
Yeah.
We'll get a lot of him, who is very presented as an antagonist of the show, really, during the first arc. A person who's very, very evil. A person who the only reason he failed the exam is because he killed, I think, one of the examiners of it there the first time around. Sage, you've seen all of this, but only going to discuss the first arc. You've had a lot to say
Yeah.
about Hunter x Hunter. So what are your thoughts on good old Hunter x Hunter here?
I mean, in some ways, the trouble is having not a lot to say at times. I mean, I went into this. I really liked Yu Yu Hakusho. That had been totally new for me watching that just last year. I ended up really loving that, so I went in this like, hey, I like this guy's work. Let's give this a shot. Don't really have any preconceptions about what the show's gonna kind of be like. Um, and then yeah, once it gets into that first arc, and I'll say, preface this too with I've never been into a lot of the more mainstream like shonen anime, your Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, Naruto, that kind of stuff. And as I understand it, it's very typical of these series to have a training arc of some sort at the beginning. And I think in general, that's just not my favorite thing. But I tell you, watching this particular training arc, this exam series of tests they're going on, I felt like I was waiting at the DMV for the whole thing.
Wow. So you were just that bored by it, huh?
I really just, I mean, right off the bat, I have to say, the animation itself, I don't think is of poor quality, but the art direction, the style, the character designs, just not very memorable to me, which was surprising coming off Yu Yu Hakusho, which I thought was really stuck out. A lot of personality in each of the characters, but here, I don't know. I just don't feel like these visual designs are doing a whole lot or giving me a whole lot of personality. And I don't think that the dialogue or the actual plot that's playing out is doing so either. So I never really felt like I was getting to know any of the characters on all that deep of a level. And I just didn't really feel anything for the trials that they were going through or for the difficulties that they were struggling with. I mean, there's an episode at one point in this season that's literally them going like, "Hey, you guys can't go to the next stage of this test yet. We're going to need you to wait in this room for 72 hours." And then there's an episode about them waiting in a room for 72 hours, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what watching this show feels like."
Yeah, what's good bonding time, man? Get a bond with the crew, man, a little bit. So this, of course, based on a manga here. The manga's still going on. It's just on a hiatus right now. Same thing with the anime is on a hiatus. So the manga was
Yeah,
first
I want to say
introduced.
since 2014. I think the show hasn't had new episodes for
Yeah,
over like a decade at this point.
yeah. So the manga originally was original run March 3rd, 1998 was when it originally came out. The anime, so the original run of the anime was 1999 to 2001, but then there's also a kind of a reboot version of it that came out in 2011, which they kind of did, which is the one that I saw there.
Yep.
And they also have films here of Hunter x Hunter, Phantom Rogue and The Last Mission. Have you seen those?
I looked them up, and it said they were not canon, like a lot of the old Dragon Ball Z movies. So I
Okay.
was like, yes, I don't have to sit through this.
And there's very little filler because I guess there's not that many episodes of this. I mean, it was 148 episodes, but I think there's very little filler in this. I think so. You do.
I guess it depends on how if it feels like the exam itself has a whole lot going on or not. I almost I almost feel like the show is like, what if we did a show that was just like just all the filler?
uh, so, so you're not a big fan of it. So
No, no.
so let's see. So me watching this, coming into it, I thought the first arc watching it. Now you've seen everything, so you do have the kind of foresight
Sure.
of having seen everything. So just the Hunter exam arc, just going there. So like I mentioned, he did a very great job with the Dark Tournament arc in Yu Yu Hakusho, and consider that one of the best tournament arcs in all anime. And this is almost like a mix of like, okay, if you do the training arc in anime, then plus the tournament arc stuff there too, because there's also like you say, it's characters going through all these different trials to get their hunter license here. So it's a mix of all these kind of different styles here. There's different competitions. There's like an endurance competition. There's competition where it's like Hunger Games where they have to like hunt each other in the woods. Then there's a competition where they have to cook food. Then there's a competition where they fight each other in a tournament here. They fight some like prisoners in a tournament type thing. So I thought the variety there was actually kind of nice there. I thought that was actually presented kind of cool there. The different kind of tests that they had to kind of go through there. Um, then you have, the characters that he's with, because of course with any anime you need your, roster of characters here that also make it interesting. Like not all the times the protagonist is always the most interesting character in your anime series. Sometimes it's like the friends that he meets along the way there. So Gon, as we see here, he's your, right now your typical chippy, you know what I mean, very upbeat anime protagonist, you know what I mean. He's gonna accomplish things through the power of will, through the power of, what I mean, just determination. He's gonna accomplish a lot of things there. Then you have kind of more your cooler badass characters who I think is Killua.
He's
Um,
definitely fitting that archetype.
he's more, I guess you would say, the Hiei of the anime here, more of your dark kind of backstory. Then he's kind of very badass as well there. Kurapika, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't want to relate it all back to Yu Yu Hakusho, but he's your. I'm blanking on the character's name right now. The one who was the nine-tailed fox.
Oh, Karama.
Kurama. Could you kind of see that with him a little bit?
I mean, he does have a little bit more of the of like the patience and the hey, maybe the examination element, where he's the one that likes to hang back and go, hey, let's take a second. I've got this reading of the situation. Maybe we shouldn't rush into this. He does that a little bit, but at the same time, I just feel like he doesn't evolve beyond that archetype. I guess
Mm,
it
okay.
feels very archetypal to me.
And then you also have Liero there, or what's his name? How you say it?
I think it's Liario.
Liario. Yeah, that's how you say it, Liario. Who looks like Ace Attorney there. He kind of looks
He
like
kind of does actually.
so yeah, this is him, who's also a part of the crew. And I guess he's the comedic relief of it. He's more of the comedic character of there, just in his expressions, just in his kind of ways there. He's always carrying a briefcase. He always got a briefcase with him there.
I
Um,
don't think you ever find out what's in that briefcase either. It's like the Pulp Fiction one.
There's a scene where his briefcase, because there's a scene where they're on the island and then they're being hunted, and then the goal is everybody to get their buttons, and then so
Mm.
his case kind of flies open because it has the button in there, like he gets set up, and then you see like some of the stuff that's in there, like he's got toilet paper in there, he's got
Okay, I guess I forgot that moment. He's this is like survival kit kind of.
yeah, it's like his survival kit there. So I guess I mean this is I guess he was too man enough. He didn't want to carry a fanny pack. I guess you know what I mean there. So that seems like it would be a lot easier than carrying just a big briefcase. But yeah, yeah. So
I
you
mean,
kind of
I would have made fun of him. So
yeah. So that looks more manly, I guess. Looks like you more got business to do. Suit plus briefcase makes you man got like a lot more stuff to do here. So yeah, he's kind of more your comedic relief, your Kuwabara there, I think, of the show. Um,
definitely lean into some of the what I find are off-putting pervy anime tropes with him a little bit.
So, of course, with anime stuff, he's you gotta have the horn dog in the show sometimes in it. And then I guess he's also the horn dog, for the show there. So the cast of characters, so those are kinda your main people that you're following. That's the main people you follow throughout the whole, 4 seasons of the show. Um, what did you feel about them? What did you think?
You know, I just did not really connect with any of them. And it's not to get too into anything else beyond the first season, but they also do like kind of rotate out who they're focusing on quite a bit. So like some arcs, some of these characters will be like totally absent and they'll come back in the next one. And sometimes you feel like you don't see certain ones for a while. But I just never really uh, I just never really found anything super interesting about any of them. And I mean, I can see what you're saying about the variety of the tests during the exam. And maybe it's because I didn't connect to the characters that the variety of that just didn't feel like it was really jumping out at me so much in the moment. Because I felt a sense of static uh, kind of at all times. And maybe if it had been a different set of characters that had been just maybe defined a little bit stronger, maybe all the different tests, maybe that would have been a greater source of entertainment, switching things up. But yeah, I just really didn't feel like I was given anything to grab onto with them.
Mm, okay. So seeing the first part of it, I don't know where the arcs kind of go here. So the way this arc kind of ends off is so they completed the exam. So Gon, Olenario, Kulia, Kiloi, and Karepa. Oh no, I'm sorry. Killua, he's the one that didn't get the license, and then
Yeah,
Karepa.
he fucks up and like he kind of does the same thing that clown you mentioned the clown doing. He kills someone that is supposed to be like part of the people holding the exams and gets basically like booted out. He's the only one that doesn't pass.
Yeah. Karipika, he's the one that gets this. So the 3 of them out of the 4 get the license, and then, the other guy, he messes up, and they have to basically go and kind of find him, and he went back to, like, kinda where he lives there. And so, yeah, so that's kinda where this arc kinda leaves off on, again, the power of friendship. They bonded over the exam, so now they're gonna help their buddy out there. You kinda see that. Um yeah, so, I mean, the kind of the other cast of characters here, am I that invested in them as much as, I guess you would say, like, with Yu Yu Hakusho there? Not really. I think the other characters were presented better there. I think they were better written there. I think I was more interested there with them. As far as that, it's just like this world that is Hunter x Hunter. I'm just maybe not I'm just, I guess, even seeing these first 26 episodes, not as I don't have a good grasp of this world because in something like Yu Yu Hakusho, it's more closer to the actual real world. It's just except like, okay, there's this real world and then there's the spirit side of this. So it's like, okay, the reason people have certain abilities or certain powers is because like what they have, they're connected to the spirit realm and they have like spirit abilities. So it's like, okay, that's why they can do this. Not sure why other people have these certain special abilities or like necessarily. Like get what I'm trying to say here. Like why
A
certain
hundred
characters.
percent. No, I completely agree. You know, because it also it's just this weird thing where like sometimes it has this feeling and this look where I guess it's like it's just, hey, this is just like a complete 100% fantasy world, and I guess that's why characters have powers. And then other times you'll go and you'll see what kind of looks like more of a typical real world civilization, and like the jumping between those is kind of jarring. It never really feels like there's this consistent sense of what the world's like or how big it is. Are we looking at like a planet or a fantasy realm, or it and I mean, like, I'll say that I don't know if I ever felt like the show really gave me a great sense of that. Even as it goes a little bit later on, that's something I struggled with quite a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was kind of one thing there. I guess maybe if I see more, it'll maybe give me more sense of the world and the surroundings of the world. Like something like One Piece, it's like, okay, you get that it's this kind of big kind of map, and then people travel in between it, and then the reason people have certain abilities is because they eat this fruit, and then also there's the fish people who also have like special abilities as well. But why? Because they're fish people, so you kinda get that, but then there's the character Hisoka, he's a clown, and then he does clown shit, I don't know, like, exactly, uh,
He's definitely on some clown shit, I'll say that.
there, and this is so let me, pull up the character there, so we get to know more. I guess he's gonna be a more prominent character throughout the series, more of the antagonist there as we see.
Yes, he is. I kept wishing he'd go away, and he didn't really. So yeah,
Um,
yeah, you'll see a lot more of him. My issues with that character are mostly from later parts. I don't think there's anything like super egregious and weird in this first season. But as we go through the arcs and review the different seasons of the show, I'm gonna have more to say about him for sure.
okay. Yeah, you told me a little bit about him there, huh. What did you think about, some of the mentor characters here or some of the action scenes? Was that any of that? What'd you think
Um, Again, I feel like they just didn't leave much of an impression, to be honest. You got kind of an old sensei character. You have some of these archetypes, but I feel like they always kind of stick to archetypes. I mean, I gotta not to compare it to Yu Yu Hakusho in every way, but I thought the sensei character in Yu Yu Hakusho was really original, one of the best kind of sensei characters I've seen in something in general. And here, it's a character where I feel like there's an archetype. You could maybe go somewhere with it, but I don't get that much. And I also just don't think the visual design really gives me a whole lot of personality anyway. I would really throw the label of generic at the show kind of across the board.
wow. And like I said, this is critically acclaimed and financial success. become one of the biggest selling manga series of all time, having over 84 million copies in circulation by July 2022. So yeah, you have other hunters there that give the exam, and then they said they swap out different examiners every time they do these things. And then you get your, of course, your classic mentor sensei characters that are in this. There, um, some of them I think were kind of cool in some of the way, like the older guy, who's got like the ponytail on his head. I thought I forgot that character's name, but he was, I thought, pretty well good. I thought he's kind of fun to watch there. Um, and then also, I also another thing, this is another thing just I don't like in general with the anime stuff is, like, they have to stress, like, the importance of the character. I feel like they do that here with Gon of, like, your father was a big important person, and then you're gonna maybe be a big important person too, and they kinda stress that, with that, and it's like, I don't really like that so much with the anime stuff there.
And with no real evidence to present and reinforce it either. At least I
Yeah.
didn't think there was.
And then the way he gets his light, I don't know if you remember, but I was trying to follow the guy's logic there of like how he got the license. Maybe I'm misremembering there, but I was just like the logic is
Yeah, it didn't feel like it really held up if you thought about it for very long. It definitely felt like hey, I need this to happen to move the story along. So even though I kind of wrote myself into a corner, I'm gonna kind of hand wave this problem away and just say you passed. It felt I don't know. It didn't feel very genuine or earned to me.
yeah. So it's kind of, I mean he got he got his ass whooped for it. I mean that's for sure. He definitely got put through a lot for it, but it just was like huh, I don't know about that necessarily. But
Seemed like a fail more than a pass in my mind.
yeah. Um, yeah. So that's so what was some of so what would be your final thoughts and rating for the Hunter exam arc here?
Um, I for all the negativity I'm putting out there, just talking about this first season and this first arc, I didn't hate it. I didn't feel super strongly negative about this while I was watching it. I mean, I think the issue really comes down to I didn't really feel anything while I was watching it. I almost wish it had been worse so that I felt like I had more to say and more feedback to give the show because it ended up just kind of in such a lukewarm place that by the end of it I was like I feel like yeah, I feel like I just kind of sat in a room for a while. Well, some other people hung out, and I didn't really get to know them very well. This is a I'm just putting it and skip it kind of right in the middle of the rating system. I didn't hate it. I'm not like vitriolic towards it or lacking in passion, as I'd say a good way to describe how I feel.
Wow. I'm gonna be a little bit more positive than you on it. I think for so far what I see, it's pretty decent so far there. I don't think it's fully wrapped me in as of yet. But I liked like this Hunter exam arc, like I said, doing all these different trials. I thought was interesting there, like all the different stuff they have to do, the variety of these different challenges. Like you said, like kind of they do a Hunger Games type situation where they go into like the woods and hunt each other. Then there's like a tournament where they fight each other. Then it's like more a puzzle mental game stuff they have to figure out use intelligence there. Um, do all that kind of different stuff. So I thought that was good. The variety of different stuff, like it's combining like your training arc stuff with your tournament arc stuff, with all that kind of different stuff, like getting all that out the way in your first arc there, of getting these characters like skills and things that they will kind of use and maybe in the future here. I thought that was already kind of well done. The characters here, maybe I could get more used to these characters. I mean, time goes on, maybe in different arcs, they grow more, bond more. Like I said, the power of friendship is always amazing there when you use it properly. So maybe that can come up there. But yeah, so for me, I'd give it a kind of a high stream it there for me. For me there, I kind of like a lot of different stuff there. But yeah, I mean, I heard a lot about this series. First time checking it out. Interested to finish it. Well, not finish it, but catch up to it where it is because it hasn't been finished. There, like I said, it's been a decade since new episodes for this have come out, and a lot of that is due to the health of Takahashi, of what he's been kind of been going through there, his chronic health problems. So I
Yu
don't
Yu
know.
Hakusho ended prematurely for the same reason too.
Yeah. So I don't know when there's gonna be ever new episodes of this. Have you heard anything about hinted of when there are gonna be new episodes?
I haven't. The only thing I know for sure is that Takahashi has kind of given his wife, the mangaka for Sailor Moon, kind of the outline or explanation for what he wants to do and how to finish it. Because I think he's not even confident that he's going to survive, his health problems long enough to finish the story. Which, that just that you know, I don't want to get totally sidetracked into a completely different conversation, but it really just makes you think about the health of some of these creators in general and some of the conditions in the industry and how far they have to push themselves to keep up with these demands. And yeah, it's definitely not a problem unique to him, that's for sure.
It says I'm looking at an article here. It says on March 9th, 2023, Takahashi announced that chapter 401 was ready to be published. The only
Oh,
hurdle
okay.
left was that the Shonen Jump's editors were deliberating when and where to put the long-awaited Hunter x Hunter chapter. There are certainly no details about what chapter 401 may be about. Currently, it's unclear if chapter 401 will pick up where chapter 400 ended or shift to someone else's perspective um, here.
And
Uh,
I bet when it does come out, it'll be another big break between that and the following one.
But it says here, but then on October 2nd, 2023, Takahashi tweeted that he was about to start something over. It's unclear if Takahashi was referring to supposedly finish chapter 401, something else entirely, or he was speaking broadly about returning to regular work as a mangaka. The much awaited chapter 401 doesn't even have a release date yet, but Takahashi's most recent ominous tweet was more than enough to get Hunter and Hunter fans both excited and concerned.
Hmm.
Yeah. So don't know yet. Yeah. It's kinda gonna
Well, I'd
happen.
say I'm worried about his health, and I don't want him to push himself. And then I'm also a little worried about having to see more of the show. So, I think take as long as you need, man.
Yeah.
Don't rush it.
I mean, still young guy. I mean, he's still young, 58, still got a lot of time left, with it there. And still got a plethora of anime that people can still watch, and enjoy right now. Do you see like we saw we mentioned a lot of influences with Yu Yu Hakusho there that people kinda inspired from that. Do you see any of that kinda with Hunter x Hunter in modern anime there?
Not that I've noticed. I didn't pick up on anything specific. I mean, I'm sure just because it is a big kind of mainstream series, I'm sure that it has had influences on something. I couldn't pick out anything specific though.
Okay. But I mean, also maybe this will help people feel the Hunter void there. There's a fighting game coming out. Hunter Nin Impact there. Um yeah, there's there's that. I don't know if this has release date yet. I don't know. But there's
It
that.
looks like it needs a lot more work to me, that's for sure.
A lot more work in terms of the animation. I know the budget on this. I don't want to talk about it too bad because I know the budget was pretty low on this. I think. It seems like people say the fighting game players. This is Justin Wong right here, who's a famous fighting game player. And then you have other fighting game players like Punk the God and Sonic Fox. Talk about this game and said the mechanics are pretty good. I guess if the mechanics are good there. If you're into that type of thing there. So, but just to me, the animation looks kind of bland, like not that interesting. Even some of the kind of combos here, the special moves, I think could also use some work here, as you see. But yeah, but I don't know. I mean, could you pick this up if it was $30? You'd pick it up.
Oh, hell no.
$20?
uh, I think you might have to pay me to get this.
Well, I'll ask for a review code if I can get a review code for it. Uh,
I'll play it if there's a review code. I'll play it if I don't have to spend any money on it.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe you could be still supporting Takahashi. I don't know if this. I mean, if you buy it, I mean, how much would go to him? But I don't know how that works.
That's a good question. I'd love if they put out like a Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game instead. That I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. Oh, they did a versus Yu Yu Hakusho versus Hunter x Hunter there, maybe.
Yeah, well, you know what? I could play as the characters I like and beat up the characters I don't like. That'd be great, actually.
Yeah, I'm surprised. They've never done a Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game? Oh, they actually have. Yeah.
I think they have, but it was like all you're going like back to the PS2. I don't think they've done anything in recent times, that's for sure. I
Yeah.
think there was a couple Game Boy Advance games for the series as well.
This almost seems like Dragon Ball, like Xenoverse, something like that, maybe?
It was totally doing it's I think it's copying the Budokai games that were
Budokai,
out
yeah.
on the PS2 and the GameCube at the time. It feels very, very similar to that, both in its visual style and its movement.
Yeah, seems like it's doing that, yeah. Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, bring it. I wanna see Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game too. I wanna see that. I don't know. This kinda looks better than Hunter x Hunter.
It does.
Him it kinda looks better there. Even some of the special moves here kinda look kinda better
Yeah,
here
it
almost.
looks like. I mean, it looks like an actual whole game that had a budget, and I don't know. It looks like more. Like I come back to the thing where like I think that game, the Hunter x Hunter game, some of the blandness there to me is coming from the original character designs that I think are already a little bland to begin with. So,
Yeah. And this is more of a throwback, Yu Yu Hakusho fighting game
oh
here.
yeah,
Really nice.
it's like more Super Nintendo almost.
Yeah. 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 So that was our review of Hunter x Hunter. The first arc, the Hunter exam. There, you gave it a skip it. I gave it a stream it. There, I stream it.